Hi there. It's November the 10th, and today we continue our journey through the book of Ezekiel, in Hebrew Ezekiel, meaning the Lord will strengthen, and we come to chapters 21 and 22. So our chapter 21, which is already into chapter 21 of the Hebrew, our chapter 21 begins with Ezekiel being called to turn his face and to set his face against Jerusalem for judgment. The Lord says that their sin has been so terrible that both righteous and evil are going to be destroyed, are going to be wiped out, mainly because of the sanctuaries, because of the idol temples that they've allowed to be built within their midst. And in order to show the seriousness of the judgment, Ezekiel is actually to act it out. Again, he's being called to dramatize his prophecy. He's been called to howl and to bow and to groan because of the coming terror, to show that and when they ask why are you groaning, he's to say because a sword's being prepared. And there's actually a lot of reference here to the sword. In fact, sometimes this passage is called the Song of the Sword. And he's acting it out again. He is striking his thigh, and he's striking left and right to show how the sword is going to go, that it's going to go all around the place. And then there's also the acting out of the destination of the Babylonians when they come. Ezekiel is told to go out to a fork in the road and to set up a signpost where the road forks between going towards Rabbah in Jordan and going towards Jerusalem. And it's said here that the Babylonians are going to divine. They're going to ask the auguries which way they should go, but the Lord says it's going to turn out to be Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is the one that the Lord has destined for destruction. And so it's a warning, although it also says that the Ammonites will also be in for destruction as well, because they have done no better, and they will also be consumed by the fire that's coming. Then in chapter 22, the Lord continues to speak against Jerusalem as the town that has shed blood, the town that has allowed indefensible homicide, indefensible treatment. And the Lord, and also they will become repulsive to the nations. And the Lord, through Ezekiel, delineates the different things that have gone on which make Jerusalem such a disgrace. Jerusalem under Zedekiah, that is given over to idolatry. It's been dishonoring parents, been dishonoring fathers and mothers. It's acted badly towards the strangers in their midst. They've mistreated orphans and widows, and they've allowed sacrifices to go on in the high places, in unauthorized places. There's even terrible things like sexual immorality. There's incest even been happening. And for this reason, the Lord says, you are going to be scattered among the nations. And then the Lord says of Judah, that she's become like dross or slag. When he's tried to purify the metal, when he's tried to get silver and separate it from the other metals, he's found that there's nothing there worth having, that it's all dross, it's all slag, and therefore it's going to be burned up, it's going to be smelted. Particularly he highlights here the deceptive prophets, the priests that have been vile, the corrupt officials. He says that the prophets have been, as it were, whitewashing. They've done a whitewash, saying everything's going to be okay, where in fact it's not okay. The Lord is going to bring judgment, and they've not been speaking on behalf of the Lord. And lastly, in this chapter 22, the Lord says that he looked for someone who would stand in the gap, someone who would stand in the breach that there's been, someone who would intercede for the nation, but there was nobody found who would intercede, and therefore destruction is coming. It's amazing that God looks for this intercession. He looks for this one who will intercede, as one who will stand in the gap. We are invited to stand and to pray. We're invited to come and call out to God, even when there are terrible things going on, even when there's evil going on, that we should be looking out for our nations, looking out for our societies and interceding for them, because this is what God was looking for from the people of Judah and Jerusalem. And because of that, destruction came, because there was no one standing in the gap. Let's continue to stand in the gap and intercede for all those who are in need in our day and age as well. Have a very good November 10th.